free will feels undeniable. You experience yourself as a decision maker, weighing options, choosing one path over another, shaping your future through deliberate action. This feeling is so immediate that questioning it feels almost offensive. And yet, physics remains completely indifferent to it. The laws that govern the universe do not reference choice, intention, or agency. They describe how states evolve, not how decisions are made. This creates a deep tension. Either free will exists outside the domain of physics, or it is an illusion generated by systems that obey physical law. Physics does not take sides. It simply proceeds as if choice does not matter. Classical physics offered a bleak picture. Given the state of the universe at one moment, the future follows inevitably. Every particle's motion is determined. In such a universe, free will has no place. Your decisions would be the unavoidable outcome of prior states. This determinism felt threatening, but it was at least coherent. Then quantum mechanics arrived and shattered determinism. Outcomes became probabilistic. Events were no longer fixed in advance. Many hoped this randomness would rescue free will, but randomness does not create agency. A choice determined by chance is no more free than one determined by necessity. Physics replaced inevitability with probability, but neither makes room for will as an independent force. In both cases, outcomes follow rules. They do not respond to intention. Physics treats the universe as a system evolving according to laws, whether deterministic or probabilistic. At no point does it pause to ask what should happen. It calculates what does happen. This indifference is revealing. Free will, as you experience it, does not appear in the equations because the equations describe the evolution of physical states. Neurons firing, chemicals diffusing, electrical potentials changing. Your brain is a physical system embedded in this evolution. Every thought, intention, and action corresponds to physical processes. If physics is complete in its domain, then those processes follow physical law. There is no extra variable labeled choice that can intervene. This does not mean your experience is false. It means the experience may not correspond to an independent causal power. Neuroscience reinforces this view. Experiments show that neural activity predicting a decision can be detected before a person becomes consciously aware of having made that decision. The feeling of choosing appears after the process has already begun. Consciousness seems to observe decisions rather than initiate them. This does not mean consciousness is useless. It means its role may be interpretive rather than causal. The brain generates actions. Conscious awareness narrates them as choices. This narration is compelling because it creates a coherent sense of self, but coherence does not imply causation. The illusion of free will may be a byproduct of how complex systems represent their own activity. Physics does not deny this illusion. It ignores it. That ignorance is telling. From the universe's perspective, what matters is state transition. Inputs produce outputs. The internal story the system tells itself is irrelevant to the evolution of the system. This perspective becomes even more unsettling when you consider time. If the block universe picture is correct, then your entire life exists as a four-dimensional structure. Your past decisions, present deliberations, and future actions all exist as parts of a space-time pattern. From this view, you are not creating the future, you are revealing it. The feeling of openness is local. Globally, the structure is fixed. This does not make your experience meaningless. It makes it perspectival. You feel free because you do not have access to the full structure. Uncertainty is experienced as possibility. Lack of knowledge becomes the sensation of choice. Physics does not care whether you feel free. It cares whether the structure is consistent. Some try to rescue free will by placing it outside physics. Perhaps free will is a non-physical property. Perhaps it operates in a separate domain. But this move comes at a cost. If free will does not interact with physical processes, it cannot influence actions. If it does interact, it must obey physical law. There is no stable middle ground. Either free will is causally irrelevant, or it is constrained. Physics does not rule it out. It makes it redundant. Another attempt reframes free will as emergent. Perhaps free will is not fundamental, but real at higher levels. Just as temperature is not fundamental, but still meaningful, choice may emerge from complex dynamics. This view preserves usefulness, but abandons metaphysical freedom. You are free in the sense that your behavior is best predicted at the level of intentions, not particles. But this freedom does not grant exemption from physics. It is compatible with determinism or randomness because it is descriptive, not causal. Physics remains untouched. This compatibility is often misunderstood. People fear that denying fundamental free will undermines responsibility, morality, or meaning. But physics does not dictate how societies assign responsibility. Responsibility is a social construct built to regulate behavior. It does not require metaphysical freedom. It requires predictability and influence. You hold people responsible because doing so changes future behavior. Physics allows this. It does not care about justification. It cares about causation. The universe does not punish or reward. It evolves. The discomfort comes from conflating experiential freedom with causal independence. You feel like you choose because your brain integrates information, simulates outcomes, and selects actions. That process is real. It is just not exempt from physical law. The feeling of authorship arises because the system attributes actions to itself. This attribution is functional. It allows learning. It allows planning. It does not require that the system be the ultimate origin of its actions. Physics is silent on meaning, but it is loud on structure. It tells you that everything that happens follows from prior states and rules, even if those rules include randomness. Free will, as a feeling of uncaused choice, does not appear. That does not make it an illusion in the trivial sense. It makes it an emergent narrative. A story complex systems tell themselves to organize behavior. The universe does not object to this story. It simply does not include it in its equations. This leads to a final, unsettling insight. The question of free will may be misplaced. Asking whether free will exists at the fundamental level is like asking whether money exists at the level of quarks. It is the wrong scale. Free will exists as an experience, as a model, as a social tool. Physics does not need it, and it does not deny it. It simply operates at a level where choice is not a primitive. Physics doesn't care about choice because choice is not a fundamental property of reality. It is a property of certain systems within reality. Systems like brains that must model themselves to function. You experience freedom because that experience is useful. The universe evolves regardless. This does not make your life meaningless. It makes it situated. You are not outside physics choosing which universe to create. You are inside physics experiencing what it feels like to be a system that cannot see the full chain of causation. Free will may be an illusion, but it is an illusion that works. And in a universe governed by laws indifferent to intention, working illusions are often the most important ones. This is Veritas Labs, where truth is tested.